Monday, 3rd of August 2020. Good afternoon from Europe. Good morning, good evening, guys, wherever you are. Piotr here, Slide Forex Global YouTube channel. First trading day of the August, and we already have stop hand when it comes to the Nasdaq and some kind of the rejection. So Nasdaq is the chart we are going to start with. Well, let's have a look what we have. Okay, if you remember, guys, we were talking about this double top over here, and I mentioned a few times that I don't like the the beauty double top, because usually I would prefer the second to be a little bit just shy above the previous one, just to have this a little bit of the stop hand. And I told you that okay, I'm gonna to try after the move to the downside. I'm gonna to try to trade some shorts, right? But I'm not gonna be surprised if at some point in the future we are going to ask for those stops. Market is going to ask for those stops, and that's what happened today. Since that we have a little bit of the profit taking when it comes to the Nasdaq. So from the intraday perspective, that might be nice swing high. Intraday swing high from the intraday perspective. So we will see where we are around the top of the hour within the next 8 minutes, and if that's the case, then I might look from the intraday perspective to try to trade a short side when it comes to the indices. Before we will continue, let's check the calendar, right? Because today it was the PMI manufacturing day. We've got very good number out of the China. Then of course Europe. Come on, of course it's a great. What kind of the coronavirus? What you're talking about? What? No, everything is fine. Well, come on. Anyway, green above 50. And finally we got final manufacturing PMI out of the US, also above 50, but a little bit weaker what market was expecting, 50.9 versus 51.3, and ISM 54.2, 53.6 expectations, previous 52.6. Construction spending a little bit lower. So we've seen the spike, right? Well, I do believe that because of the beginning of the new month, some funds were simply, as a rule, as per the rules, they were buying, but now we hit some stops. That what market was looking for, what market was waiting for. We've seen some stop hunt, and when it comes to this Nasdaq, we have a little bit of the profit taking. So if we are going to get the close, especially below 50% of that candle, right? And if the close is going to be below the low of the previous candle, I'm looking for a swing high creation, and I'm looking for maybe one more time retest around of 11,060, 65. I might start to build position. Depends on this close a little bit earlier. So overall, from the intraday perspective, well, we'll see, right? New month, new challenges, new opportunities. So we can start that way, of course. Anyway, that's how I see the Nasdaq and S&P 500. Well, the things here, well, similar, I would say. When it comes to the weekly open, that looks like this. So we have some stop hunt. Here compared to what we've seen 2 weeks ago. All right. So what we are targeting when it comes to the S&P, I think that we were very close to the levels here, and we are talking about the levels close to 3,300, 1520 based on the chart I'm using. Okay, so let's place one of the lines over there, and let's have a look how far from here where we are right now we have. There is also the things going on with the possible demand, and that's levels close to 3,240 and the previous stop over here, right? So looks like there is a little bit of the space. So compared to Nasdaq, I'm not in rush to try to fade S&P just yet, right? I'm not in rush to fade the S&P just yet. Why? There is also possibility from the intraday perspective that the market, may want to look for some stops above the trend line. So towards the levels we discussed a second ago, and the levels visible here as well. This green line, right? This green light over here. Okay. So that could be the case for the S&P. So slowly, finally around the, I don't know, late Tuesday, maybe beginning of the Wednesday, we might hit this level. So looks like Nasdaq might be that weaker when it comes to the indices. All right, let's have a look what we have when it comes to the calendar and when it comes to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the upcoming Tokyo session, we have Tokyo core CPI. We have monetary base, so when it comes to the Bank of Japan, then we have trade balance and retail sales when it comes to the Australia. But the cherry on the cake when it comes to the Tokyo session is, of course, RBA rate decision. So towards the end of the Tokyo session, we have RBA cash rate, no change in view, but Australian dollar is a little bit weaker. We spoke about the Australian dollar a lot, right? Probably, if that's the case, I'm going to make another update after the US cash close, or maybe tomorrow morning ahead of the or around the Europe Open to try to check what is going on. Don't forget, we got a negative print when it comes to the Australian dollar CPI, right? Now the cash rate, no change in view, but the statement, that's where I think we might get some kind of the bearish sentiment. I think a little bit more dovish than what market is expecting. But anyway, when we are talking about the Australian dollar, it's worth to check where we are. And as you can see, since Friday high, very nice rejection, and market is approaching the stops around 70, but I think, as discussed previous week, 70-40 and 70 level, that's the key psychological level when it comes to the Australian dollar. So that's about the tomorrow's Tokyo session. Then when it comes to the Europe, Spanish unemployment change, and that's gonna be very, very interesting. No one knows what's the real numbers out of the Spain when it comes to the coronavirus, when it comes to the data, and that's it. And US, we do have factory orders only, so might be a little bit quiet tomorrow from that perspective, from the calendar perspective. Wednesday again, Tokyo, we have New Zealand job market, then we have Chinese Caixin services PMI, Europe whole day with the PMI services, and of course when it comes to the US, we have final services PMI and ISM non-manufacturing. But we also have on Wednesday ADP, so preparation for the Friday's non-farm payrolls, right? For the oil traders, of course, don't forget that we have on Wednesday crude oil inventories. When it comes to Thursday, during the Tokyo session, inflation expectations from New Zealand. Then Thursday, that's another central bank this week, and I'm talking about the Bank of England. So that's another very important decision from the central bankers. And pound was even stronger than Australian dollar lately, right? But big but, finally we hit the supply. Based on the weekly, we've seen a little bit of the upper shadow when it comes to the last week candle. As you can see, upper shadow over here, and we have a little bit of the rejection. Of course, for now we have the support around 130 psychological level, no doubt about it. But from the weekly chart perspective, we have lower levels. We have 27.50 as a demand, and supply, of course, based on what we have here around 30.80. When it comes to the upside, it might be that the market may want to look more towards the upside. In that case, we are talking about the levels above 32, right? With the rejection. So the main question I'm trying to answer by myself is, did we already see in the stop count? And based on the daily chart, it could be that the Friday was this type of the stop count. Right now we are trying to draw the swing high. Depends where we are going to get the close when it comes to the daily chart, right? As you can see right here, right now. Or the question is, we are going to see some stop count to the upside, more upside manipulation when it comes to the pound towards the Bank of England rate decision towards the Wednesday, Thursday, right? That's the really big question here from the daily chart. Depends where we are going to the daily close, but swing high creation. So the supply is really around 30, 80, 31.20, but the demand is around the Thursday low and Thursday open. So that's what been tested already today, right? And it's 130 psychological level as well. So sellers closer towards 30.80, 31.20, and then again above 32. Buyers around the psychological 130 level, 29.80. If we are going to give up here, then we are immediately opening 27.70, 27.50 when it comes to the pound. Also, watching very carefully when in correlation with the rejection when it comes to the Nasdaq. Also watching very carefully this pound yen chart. All right, also upper shadow. Well, it's gonna be very interesting where we are going to finish today. Supply when it comes to the pound yen around 139, demand around the Friday open and Friday low. That's how I see the things when it comes to the pound yen. Now, Thursday, Bank of England day, and of course weekly unemployment claims when it comes to the US. Friday, during the Tokyo session, RBA monetary policy statement, and during the European session, German industrial production, French industrial production, and of course during the US hours, non-farm payrolls day, and some jobs numbers out of the Canada as well. So when it comes to the payrolls, right, of course the top pair is gonna be euro dollar. We hit, based on the weekly chart, we hit huge supply based on what we discussed to the left side, right, after being broken, never been tested. We hit that nice very long upper shadow, and today over the course of the day we are still staying under the weekly and daily open. Also the key in my opinion was the weekly close below this upper shadows we've seen here. Let's switch to the daily chart, and when it comes to the daily chart, if we are going to manage close below Thursday low, Wednesday low, and the Tuesday inside bar, there is a possibility we are immediately opening the levels related to the previous week open somewhere towards here. Overall 116 overall. I think that 18.20 right now supply, demand around today's low number one, around previous week open 1642. If we are going to get the break here to the downside, I think 15 and 14.50 next big demand levels when it comes to the euro dollar medium term. So basically, new month, new week, new challenges. We went through indices and three majors. And guys, if necessary, I'm going to make an update towards the US cash close. It was my pleasure to be with you. Don't be trapped, guys, and stay tuned. See you around. Take care and goodbye.